Beth Tweddle is arguably Britain's most successful gymnast of all time. In a prestigious 10-year career, the 3-times world champion has amassed more titles and more medals than any other British gymnast before her. As a full-time professional athlete, Beth's time is currently split between training for the 2012 Olympic Games and the extracurricular demands that come with being one of the greatest gymnasts the sport has ever known. But where did Beth's interest in the sport come from, and what was it like discovering there was a special talent in the family? To find out, Inge travelled to Liverpool to talk to Beth and her father, INEOS Compound's business manager, Jerry Tweddle.
Beth was an all-round active child, so she did anything, climb trees, jump on beds, had to go horse riding, did all the sort of sporty things you might imagine. Beth was about 7 at her first gym lesson. We took her to Cam Street in Crewe and dropped her off for the morning and let her get on with it. It was after just a few weeks. My wife came home from the gym one morning and said, this coach has called me into his office and asked, what sort of parent are you? I said, why did he do that? And he said, well, your daughter has talent and we need to know whether you're going to support her.
At the age of 9, just 2 years after she'd taken up the sport, Beth was in the British junior team and ranked 2nd in the country.
It became apparent that we were going to have to work around gymnastics, and we were very keen that she continued her education, obviously, and did her homework.
They were always very supportive of me. Sometimes there was arguments over homework if it was late at night, but other than that they were very supportive.
If you're a parent with a child who you think has above average ability, and I think most parents think that about their children anyway, I think the first thing you have to do is recognise that the parent is always going to be in the background. I think I can honestly say I've never seen a training session in my life. Parents are not encouraged to be at training sessions, and that's because it's a potential distraction for the child and therefore a physical risk. You need to find the best coach you can and pass your child across, encourage them, support them, and let the professionals do their job.
At 12, Beth joined forces with Amanda Kirby, the coach with whom she still works today, and with whom she's formed a formidable partnership. For Jerry Tweddle, Beth's enthusiasm for her sport and her move to a gym in Liverpool, where she still trains today, meant long hours in the office and almost as many in the car.
I think there were sacrifices in terms of splitting our time between the children. I think there's sacrifices in, did we have long summer holidays every year? No, but we have been every part of the world with Beth. So we've seen places and been places and had fantastic times. So no sacrifice from my point of view.
My dad's work definitely got their fair share out of him. He used to stay at the office late so that he could come and pick me up in Liverpool, but he also says that that hour drive was sort of the best time he got with me. I mean, what dad gets their daughter stuck in the car for an hour where they can't get away from them?
I'm probably the sweeper up now. I think there's not a lot in Team Tweds. I sort of feature alongside my wife as general supporter, and that's it these days. We just enjoy the ride.
My parents' role has been a massive part of my success as a gymnast. Shouldn't really say that with him sat there. My dad, my mum, they were my taxi drivers, they were my financial support, a shoulder to cry on or someone to celebrate with, so they've always been there through the ups and the downs.
Parents are always worried about dedication and particularly injury to a child that's focused on a single thing. And it was, how big a risk is this of injury that was always the issue.
Nursing their daughter back to fitness is a task with which Jerry and his wife Anne are only too familiar. Beth has broken her ankle 6 times, her shoulder 3 times, and both her cheekbones.
If you worry about it, then the likelihood is it's going to happen. You just have to stay 100% focused.
At 17, Beth won gold at the 2002 Commonwealth Games, and at 21 she became the first British gymnast to win a medal at both the World and the European Championships, where she took gold in both. Since then, she's won a further 2 World Championship golds, 5 European Championship golds, and has been British champion no fewer than 7 times.
I never dreamt of competing in the Olympics when I was younger. It was only when I was about 16, 17 that I realised that I wanted to do the Olympics and I could do the Olympics.
Having missed out on a bronze medal at the Beijing Olympics on account of one tiny error on the bars, London 2012 represents unfinished business for Beth, and is the reason that at 26 years old she continues to train for 30 hours a week, 6 days a week.
It will be the pinnacle to be at 2012. That home crowd is something special. I think it actually, for my wife and I, we almost feel it's more pressure. I think Beth would say the crowd gives her an extra benefit and edge.
Before a competition, to start with, I usually just listen to my iPod. I'm very antisocial. Mum and Dad always text to say good luck and I usually ignore them. They've learnt not to take it to heart. You have to have the ability to keep your nerves under control to be a gymnast. If you're on a 10 centimetre plank of wood, when you get on the beam, you have to be able to control that nerves. But from the age of 7 or whenever a gymnast starts, they're taught how to control those nerves, and with more and more competition you learn how to control it as well. What I've meant when I've said I've got to take risks going into London is if I go into the Olympics with a bar routine that's simple and safe, the start value won't be good enough to come out with an Olympic medal, so I do have to take a little bit of risk, put my start value up, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Caution is a limiting factor in sport. Beth always puts out usually the hardest routines in big competitions. She throws caution to the wind. I expect that's what will happen in London. So if you want to win, you've got to risk losing.
Go on, give him a hug now.
Oh, do I have to? That's embarrassing.
Yeah, dads are meant to be embarrassing.
They are. Dads are always embarrassing.